All right, we're back. Another episode of the podcast. Nice little flex for everyone. That'll be nice and fun for everyone to see. But we got Mike Hirthler back. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me, AJ. Happy to be here, bro.
It has been an eventful 4 months for everyone here joining in the pod. But you, my friend, the last time we spoke, you were in a different time zone and you've been quite busy. And I know people have been following you on your socials, which we blasted out. But why don't you catch us up, man, what you've been up to?
So, let's see. I started working as a nurse in San Francisco April 1st. And then I also got a job at another hospital near Santa Cruz, part-time job. For anyone who is thinking about being a nurse or pursuing nursing or is a nurse and has never worked out in California, I can't recommend it enough. The best working conditions ever. Mandated breaks, mandated patient ratios. Anyway, work's been really great. I do have a long commute, which I'm somewhat used to, but this has been a little more difficult because now 3 days a week, it's a total of about 3 hours and 20 minutes commuting, followed by a 12.5 hour shift, which if I'm going to try and work out, I'm going to have to sacrifice too much sleep. So for me, now I have to reprioritize my off days to accomplish some other goals, but work days have been a little tough to get used to, but it's been fun trying to find my new norm. I am in school for my master's in nutrition sciences, and I just finished my class, Advanced Medical Nutrition Therapy, which was a lot of fun. That's not necessarily super relatable to the general public, but as a nurse, it also helped me explain a lot of the care and a lot of the things that I do for certain patients with certain diseases. This summer, my class is culinary nutrition, so I'll be learning how to prepare meals in different ways for people with different chronic diseases. So that is exciting. Here2health has been, it's fun. It is so much fun because of the conversations that you and I get to have, conversations I have with anyone who reaches out. And like we were talking earlier, I got 400 followers. It's a nice, intimate space, and I don't feel obligated to push certain things or do things certain ways. But what I do need to work on is getting more consistent with it. And, we all make the excuse, we're too busy. But
Yep.
I know when I create and I interact, I feel great. It benefits me and hopefully it benefits other people. And so I'm like someone who's trying to start their weight loss or their lifting journey. You're trying to gain that momentum in the beginning. And for me, it's been a while now, but things are looking good. My current big project for Here2health is creating a course called the Introductory Science of Nutrition for nurses. And it is going to be credentialed as a CEU course. So I can sell this to nurses. They will get 3 to 5 CEUs for their license renewal, which they need every 2 years. And then the hospital they work for will reimburse them. So at no cost to them, I'm going to be able to provide the information that I've been dying to provide to other bedside nurses. So that is very exciting. A lot of work to do for that. But yeah, man, things have been great.
That's awesome, man. And that's so exciting just to hear your vision for everything. And I think you know how to eat an elephant, right? So don't worry about it, man. It's about the process and one step at a time. And I just we're talking about a few things here, but I just so many things you said, like it resonates so well. But one thing, right? And I think other people who have tuned into this or in general, we've talked about like routine here on the climb and how routine's really the foundation of like habits, right? How do you get something to become a habit? Well, it probably has to become a routine first, and then it can just become second nature. But it's not as easy as just putting pen to paper and then doing it. It takes different variations, and I've heard that so many times from someone that I commute too much to work, this, that. It's like, well, you got 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
2 days where you don't have to commute. why don't you crush it those two in the morning and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to hear you say that you're working even yourself as, this public figure that's, trying to get it together himself in a new routine. And it's not easy. And I love that you shared that.
A quote I heard, I don't know where from, but it was, "Don't let your emotions dictate your actions,"
Mm.
which, sounds very easy, but it's true. And anytime someone wants to start a new habit, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to take a cold shower. And sounds simple on paper. You wake up that morning, you're cozy in your bed, I don't need a cold shower today. I had a tough night's sleep last night, maybe I want a hot shower. How you're feeling is going to dictate your action towards that habit.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I work with clients, they express to me their ups and downs. And it all comes down to like, you need to take action to feel good.
Mm.
You want to make this change, but you're not motivated all the time to do it. The only way you're going to get motivated is by taking action and showing yourself that you can do those things and you are capable no matter how you feel. So it's what we all have to do in so many aspects of our life, but relevant to us, it's pursuing healthy habits. And it's not easy. It's not easy to live the healthy life that we want, So don't let your emotions dictate your actions.
It's funny that you say this because weeks ago, or not sure, months ago, whenever it was, I was watching one of your videos and you were saying the same thing. And I'll put it in layman's terms that like it's not easy, but like you're like, I don't want to be in this cold plunge right now. But guess what? Here I am. Have to do it. And there's no turning back. And I think I watched it on like a Tuesday night, and on Wednesday mornings I go to spin class, and and I like throw in like cardio, right? Like the spin class to just like mix up my workout routine. And I woke up, I'm like, shit, like Hirth said it himself. Like this is something I just got to do it. Just got to
Gotta
do
go.
it.
Gotta show up. Show up.
Oh, that's great. Show up. That's, that
Yep.
was definitely a part of it. So, and listen, I mean, I've been reading a ton and, listening to, a ton of, podcasts and videos, and it seems to me, right? And I'm going to tie it back to what you were talking about with routine, right? And desire to do things, and then you
Mhm.
go into feelings and emotions. I think I've said it before, but something that happened with me that I have to be cognizant of is I really like to curb my emotion. Hopefully it's in a positive way, like, working out or maybe taking that cold shower, going for a run, writing, talking with someone, but not all the times. And I curb that emotion a lot through like what I'm eating. And it's really, really, really simple to see when I'm like stressed out. And it's almost, what a part of what I've read and listened to in the past is it's self-medicating with your diet, with the stress and anxiety, depression, for instance, and with my mood swings too. So it's such an interesting piece that you just mentioned, and I'll take it a step further with your nutrition. It's like it seems as if nutrition, which we might have to have a whole nother call on it, might be the like end all be all, right? What are you fueling yourself with? Because if you're not fueling yourself the right way, you're gonna fall subject to these habits that you don't have any substance behind, and then you're going to curb a bad mood and everything like that. So I wanted to get your take on that. We don't have to go full into nutrition because that's
Yeah.
probably you could
Yeah.
probably speak in length and great expertise, but man, I think it has such a thing to do with people's routines and habits and
Yeah.
actions.
Let me give you an example. Same thing, we're talking about emotions dictating actions. I have a stressful day at work, and I try to finish all my meals at work. Mentally, it's just easier for me. I come home and I will sleep better, if I don't eat right before bed. And many times I'll come home, family will be up, we'll be conversing, hanging out, and I will, if they're eating, sometimes I'll eat, and I know that it's not in line with my goals or
Mhm.
what I told myself I would do earlier that day. The days when I come home and I'm able to feel that I want to eat, but I say, you know what? You're going to feel a lot better tomorrow morning if you just stick to the plan. When I go to bed, I wake up. The next day, I'm already like +1. I already feel like I'm starting on a win. And of course, it's become such an emotional attachment for all of us. Food is amazing these days. And everyone struggles with trying to control that impulse, and many factors will influence your willpower and your discipline. A poor
Mhm.
night's sleep, we all know the next day we're much more likely to reach for the sweets. But it's it's a difficult thing. We feel stress at work, we feel down for whatever reason, our system feels pressure. Food is, a natural signal of safety. We're storing some energy. We like sympathetically, our body thinks that, we're trying to prepare for something. We have to go into this defensive state. And food is a very easy, quick dopamine hit that makes you feel a little bit of reassurance very transiently until not too long later, you might feel guilty for eating that food, which is also something we all need to focus on. Like, do not just wallow away in your guilt for eating a cheat meal or going off the rails. Okay. Understand that you're human and we all make mistakes. Like no one is perfect. No one who you see on Instagram, well, hopefully some of them are being honest and truthful, but we all struggle with the same things. And
All right, we're back. Technical issues. That's okay. We're learning. First year of the pod. It's
mm-hmm.
okay. 48th episode. Maybe by 50, there'll be no glitches, no promises, though. So great
Dude,
conversation we were having on nutrition, right? But probably something we could expand upon at another time, like we
yeah,
talked about. So
yeah.
the real reason I wanted to bring Mike on here is because he has so much knowledge and something we wanted to tap into was his really expertise around weightlifting, resistance training, and how that impacts the body, the health of your body, and having good muscle definition. And it's relevant because the last time we spoke, Mike, I was working out in the garage workouts, but nothing too intense like you got, not the setup like you had in Philly. We're talking like 40-pound dumbbells and the Peloton treadmill and a resistant band, and that's about it, right?
That's all you need. Yeah.
Got it done. It got the job done, but I was transitioning back into a job and a career that I've done before, which was remote, and I realized that like, hey, I need to get out. I need to get out of the house, so I went back to the gym, um, and I just fell in love with weightlifting again, right? Moving plates. I'm not doing any strict programs, but I'm kind of actually mixing it up every week, doing 4 different muscle groups, and God, I love it. I've lost obviously feel better, lost
Mm.
weight. I feel obviously the effects, and you'll talk more about it. I'm more confident, everything that I needed. I was actually like in a mental health like rut at the time I made the change. So I think there was a lot of things going my way with my routine, back to the routine, but man, did resistance training and the weightlifting that definitely had a take in it. So
Mhm.
no better person that I would know that could talk about that than you. So maybe give us the background of how you got started in your training years ago.
First off, I appreciate you saying that I'm speaking from a place of expertise, but truthfully, I'm going to be speaking from my experience and how I believe it's relatable. Um, we could always talk about the science of the benefits of training,
Hmm.
but we don't need to because they're so proven and they are well known, and we don't have to rehash that.
And Google's
Uh,
got AI now too. So
yeah,
it's like, I
yeah,
mean, there you
but
go.
you got to be. I have played around with it using it to help me synthesize research articles, but the AIs are not good with articles from PubMed or
Mm.
any journals online. It's does this weird thing. It plugs in other ones. Anyway, um, I was always a big kid, and before coming on here, I was reflecting on my weightlifting journey, and I've known this for a while. I've remembered it before, but I remember the first time I lifted a single weight or applied myself against a weight. It was, God, I was probably in like fourth or fifth grade with the family in Disney World, and our hotel, we were walking through to get to the pool. Me, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I like just ran up to a lat pull down machine and just sat down real quick. And I didn't even adjust the weight. There was like 60s, I don't know, something light. But I just like sat down because I'd seen someone before do it, and I grabbed it and I pulled it down and was like, whoa. And it was one rep. That was like the first rep I've ever done. And I just, for whatever reason, still remember that. It wasn't significant, my family wasn't like, oh wow, Mike, you're big and strong. Like I was just like, I was like, huh, maybe there's something there. And I was super young and I didn't start training then, but it just stuck with me. Um, Sixth grade, I was pretty overweight, always a bigger kid, and I wanted to play Pop Warner football. So I had to lose 15 pounds in sixth grade to play in the heaviest division that they had. So I had the summer. It was sixth grade going into seventh grade. My family had a classic Bowflex machine downstairs. I don't remember where I got it from. I think I just like picked out 5 or 6 exercises on the machine that I could do, and I just started doing a couple sets. I spent more time outside, and I just like naturally tried to move more. I lost 15 pounds in a summer going into
Wow.
seventh grade. Then, not enough kids signed up for that division, so I never got to play Pop Warner. I ended up just playing for school.
Wow, no kidding.
Um, yeah,
That's hey, that's
yeah,
because it's a good process to okay outcome, I guess.
yeah. And so seventh grade, I enjoyed that aspect of training, and I still had more weight to lose. And so I got a personal trainer at a place near the NAC, and that was the first time I had a coach. I was only going maybe twice, 3 times a week, and that was when I learned the importance of a quality coach who
Mm.
invests in you and keeps you accountable and inspires you to really give your effort when you're with them. And that was an awesome experience. I played football in middle school, and eighth grade, some of the guys started going to the high school weight training sessions after school. And I, to this day, remember this guy, BJ Diola. I haven't seen him or talked to him in 10 plus years, but I'll never forget. He was just power cleaning 225 like it was nothing.
Mm.
And he's a big, muscular dude. And I was like, that's it. Like, I want my body to be able to do things like that. Like, he is capable, That's a useful human being. And so that inspired me. And so I started pursuing weightlifting, resistance training. It just started with a program from the football coach, and I followed it seriously. I got bigger, I got much stronger, but a lot of the weight was not great weight. Playing as a lineman, and then playing defense in lacrosse, I didn't need to be super lean. But then one day, junior year, I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I was like, you know what? This feels like rock bottom. Like, I know I'm strong. I know, like, I can do things. I'm an athlete. But I don't like what I see in the mirror. And I haven't really liked it for a while, but I haven't done anything about it. And for some reason, it was easy for me to accept at that moment. I've got nothing to lose, right? I have nothing to lose. Sure, life is good right now, but I know if I pursue this and I better my physical body, it's only going to benefit my mind and it's only going to provide me better opportunities in life. And so I got a little more serious about nutrition. I just stopped eating all the junk I was eating. And sure enough, I started losing weight and getting stronger. During that time in high school, it was great because I had friends that I would work out with, and I learned the importance of training partners. And it's it is really great when you can work together with someone and you get, simply put, iron sharpens iron. Um, Graduate high school, go to Penn State, pursue a degree in kinesiology, the study of human movement. I start coaching CrossFit in college, and at that point, my community, my environment was, a social fit group who took the process and the journey of bettering their bodies seriously, but not so serious that we didn't all have fun. So I loved CrossFit. I loved coaching CrossFit. I loved competing at the time. These were like intramural, intercollegiate competitions, and it was just so much fun. On this little gym floor competition setting, you see what you're capable of. You push it harder than you think you can, and you can endure some pain. And I think that's CrossFit taught me those valuable lessons of like, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're really going to progress and get better and perform. And so CrossFit, did that for a while, graduated college, kept doing it. And then probably about 4 years ago, stopped coaching CrossFit, stopped doing CrossFit, and got back to basics and was like, you know what? I'm not a great CrossFit athlete. I'm a strong guy, but maybe I should just like work on the fundamentals. Something inside me was like, get back to hypertrophy, just the goal of trying to add muscle. And since then, it's just been incredible. The transformation that I've been able to make with my body over the past 4 years is greater than the past 10 years preceding it. And what it has primarily been for me is following programs, for long periods of time, not really, if I feel like I need to, I change things up to keep myself enthusiastic and enjoy what I'm doing. But it honestly hasn't been that different for the past 4 or 5 years. I've been doing the same fundamentals, some leg exercises, some push exercises, some pull. People always think that it needs to be complicated and it needs to be, this super elite top of the line program that's going to get their dream body. And in reality is like, I can give you 1,000 different programs and you will make progress off of any one of them. Exercise selection doesn't matter as much as exercise execution, right? So like today, I did leg day and I was, having an existential crisis during my leg press set. And I just thought, I was like, I want people to feel that they're able to push and overcome this resistance and this difficulty and this not pain. Well, yeah, it's a type of pain, it's discomfort because I hit that leg press set and then I know the rest of my day is going to be amazing. That's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. These other mental and emotional problems that I have going on, it makes them way more tolerable. Um, so for me,
That's an un sorry to interrupt you here, but that's an
yeah,
I guess it's underappreciated the mental toughness you can build through weight training.
yeah,
It's really like you get the endorphins, sure, the enhanced confidence, you look better, you feel better, but truly the mental toughness, these small increments over time build into this hard exterior that, God, everyone can really benefit from. Mental toughness is huge in all
yeah.
aspects of life.
You that's all it is. It's continuing to push yourself physically, and it
Hmm.
translates into you pushing yourself mentally. In high school, when I really got consistent and started seeing progress, people, it was actually my teachers in high school who complimented me first. Oh, Mike, your face looks thinner. You look good. I had a Coach Sillenperry, the wrestling coach. He was one of my
Sure.
teachers, and he called me Guns because I always had big arms. And to me, that just made me feel like, I don't know, I loved it. It was like things are working,
Hmm.
I'm building into something. Um, but the lessons that someone can learn if they just are in a room with a barbell and no music and they have a workout on the board and they have to get through it, you learn so much about yourself and you go through, like in these hard sessions, you go through battles. It's not just, yeah, I'm checking off these sets and I'm getting through it. Like if you're really training hard, you're mentally training the entire time as well, right? You are continually proving to yourself that I'm capable, I'm strong, this is, I might not want to do this, but I have a goal and I'm going to finish and I'm going to keep pushing. And I, so many people are so overwhelmed about starting their fitness journey or their weight training journey because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just take a look on Instagram, go through your explore page. You've got a bajillion accounts that are saying like, this is the 12-week program you need to do to get your beach body. This is how you grow your butt like 3 inches in 2 months. Like, no, none of that.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
People need to realize you are going to go on this individual journey, and in your mind, it needs to be 10 years long. Like when I coach my clients, I coach them for about 3 months, but I tell them, look, ideally you see some physical progress. But my goal is not to absolutely dice and clean you up or pack on pounds of muscle in 3 months. It's to show you that by altering some simple habits, making some substitutions, creating new habits, you are going to have the tools in your toolbox to move forward for years to come and slowly build. Muscle that is slow to come is slow to leave. People, we live in a fast society. We want things now. I want it now. I am so, like, I remember being a freshman in high school and going on YouTube and looking up 6-minute ab videos and how you can get a six pack in 3 weeks and stuff like that. And just thinking that the quick fix was it for me, and that same mentality translated into nutrition and following certain kinds of diets. And we all fall victim to it in different aspects of our lives because we just don't want to believe that these things take so much time, but they
Yeah.
do. And that is where the reward comes from. Like I started training when I was 14 years old, 13 years old. That's 17 years now. And it has made me who I am. The experiences and the lessons I've learned in the weight room, the people that have surrounded me throughout that time, it has brought me everything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it's like what I'm most grateful for, And I think there's so much for people in that journey. And they don't see it as a journey, they see it as like, oh, I need to get in shape. So here's what I'm going to do for the next couple weeks. And then, they're not super consistent. They chalk it up as a wash and then they go back to
Mm-hmm.
their old habits. And
Yeah.
people aren't patient enough with themselves, we we fail to accept anything less than perfection. So, you fall off 1 day, 2 days, and you think there's no coming back. I patience and forgiveness. That's
Sorry,
that's
that
what we
was
need.
Rover. He knocked over something.
Rover, love it.
Yeah. But you just said it there, and I was going to mention, I mean, it just sounded like your journey was much more than the result we see now.
Hmm.
It not only physically shaped you to be who you were, but there were stages of it, and there was, community a part of it. So it's so funny that you said that because I wanted to say that I was heard that in your story, but there was also a time when I was like dealing with my second hospitalization and depression from a manic episode, and my therapist, it was like the first time I started working with the therapist, was like, hey, you should really try like community exercise class, like it hits on so many levels. And I'm
Hmm.
like, listening to your story, not that, it was, a recommendation that someone made for you, but you could tell just, yeah, you were sharpened by yourself in these individual moments, but formative times with other people, growing and learning. You know what you learned in the weight room at South when you were an eighth grader, coming over scared shitless, looking at other people deadlift and squat and hang clean, was much different than what you learned in, you know, what your CrossFit journey. And the people were all different, but help you in a formative way. And I think that shouldn't, and you said it, so, but I don't think for other people should not, you know, they should realize that there's a journey that goes along with this to get to a finished product. And there is no, you know, short fix. There's no short fix in anything in life.
No. Mm-mm.
But these lessons that you can learn along the journey and these experiences can last a lifetime. They could be way more valuable than, you know, a big butt or, you know,
Yeah.
a tight abs in 6 weeks.
Unbelievably more so. I think the best things in life come from doing the hard things, right? And even more so, doing them with your friends or your family, people you care about, and accomplishing those things together. You know, iron sharpens iron. It's simple, it's true. And that goes for more than just your training partner. It goes for the people you surround yourself with. You know, if you're on a health journey and you're surrounded by Joe and Kim who just don't give a damn about their own health, you've got the cards stacked against you, you know? And thankfully, I have gained so many friends from these different communities that I've been involved with throughout this journey. And people are not shy, but you know, people who are new to the gym, they're a little afraid. You know, they don't want to go in because they don't know what they're doing. They don't want to look like a fool. And I do understand that sentiment. I do. But if you live your life caring what other people are going to think about you, then
You got bigger problems with a dumbbell.
yeah, that's not the life you want to live. So what I try and tell people is, well, for me, I go in there, I try to radiate a little positivity. You know, I like to smile, and I also like to meet people at the gym. Today, I had a guy ask me to spot him, and in between sets, you know, we conversed for like a good 5-10 minutes total, and it was amazing. I know my session got better because of that. You know, we further inspired each other. The people you can meet if you allow yourself to be open at the gym or in these communities, it's amazing. You know, I complimented this 20-year-old. His name's Ian, because he was doing some of the most intentional squats that I've seen in forever. And I was like, I thought he was going to finish this set at 8, and he went on to 12. And at the end, I was just like, dude, kudos on that effort. That's awesome. Just what's going on? Like, what are you training for right now? Because you look very intentional, and it's whatever you're doing is definitely going to work. And he looked like, you know, a young guy who maybe started lifting 2 years. Shows me a picture. He used to be 250 pounds. And
No
now
kidding.
he's
Wow.
doing bent over rows with his old belt that he used to have. He cut it and made it into lifting straps. And so he's in there and he's reminding
That's
himself
awesome.
what he used to be and how far he's come. And so you hear about these experiences all the time in the gym, and they further motivate you and make you realize I am capable. You know, I can do it too. And so, yeah, the fitness space is tough with everything we see on social media. You know, it can be discouraging. It can seem like a lot, but same thing with nutrition. You just need some fundamentals. But
Yep.
do you want me to let's talk about how nursing has influenced my view?
Yeah, absolutely. I have one last thought on that though before we
Yeah,
do, because I think it will tie in
yeah,
to the nursing aspect. The common theme, right, like of what you were talking about was that this isn't really just a habit, it's a lifestyle. And getting in shape isn't just something you could snap your fingers and do. It's a lifestyle. It's like telling an entrepreneur saying, hey, like, yeah, don't you just want to make money? Like, yeah, sure. Everyone wants to make freaking money, but there's things you got to do to make that happen as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And it's so relatable to what you were talking about, because sure, it did physically become your lifestyle and your
Mhm.
life and your profession, but how many people were, I mean, I know most of the people when you started the journey at, South,
Mhm.
you were lifting with people. What are
Yep.
they doing now? They're not nurses. They're not this, but they have it as part of their lifestyle. You're one of your coaches, not North, at Penn State at CrossFit is one of my best friends. It's part of his lifestyle too. And
Mhm.
so you can see through this journey, right? It's more or less like it needs to be a part of your lifestyle of being active, and the benefits are going to be, immense. So, let's transition to your nursing. Like, how does that come up, that conversation, as a nurse to people? I'm sure they get like, oh, your cholesterol, this, that, blood pressure. But how does physical fitness, weightlifting, resistance training, like what's your importance? Do you see that in your profession, your day to day?
Well, relating to lifestyle, right? Sure, most people think the work takes place in the gym. That's like 20% of it. The rest of it is how
Mm-hmm.
you make decisions outside of the gym. Are you managing your stress? Are you prioritizing your sleep? Are you eating nutritious foods in the right amounts? Are you moving? Are you maintaining healthy emotional relationships? And, I think all of those things, they're mutually beneficial. And if you are doing well in the gym, you are exuberating confidence and you are a better version of yourself, which is going to further better your healthy emotional relationships, which is probably going to influence your willpower and your ability to make right nutritional decisions. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lifestyle. And when I started working as a bedside nurse, I was just kind of baffled by nurses not really taking care of themselves, um, which I think most people know, but patients in the hospital. And I've been a nurse for 4 years now. I've had thousands of patients. I don't know at this point, but the ones who have lived healthier lifestyles and have taken care of themselves are the ones getting discharged early, are the ones who don't have recurring admissions, are the ones who aren't getting discharged on all these medications. And something that isn't really talked about in the inpatient setting is sarcopenia, which is the term for age-related muscle loss, muscle quality and quantity. And as we get older, we start to deteriorate a little bit. And resistance training is obviously the best way to counteract that. But
Mm-hmm.
if I take a 65-year-old who doesn't resistance train and hasn't lived the healthiest lifestyle, and I by accident trip them on the street and they fall and break a hip, there's a greater than 50% chance that they're going to die in the next 5 years. If I take someone who has maintained their muscle mass and through their training has maintained their balance and their coordination and their body's ability to know where they are in time and space, if they happen to break a hip, they're going to do much better, because even if they're in bed for 6 days, not getting up, and their muscular system is atrophying very rapidly, they have a much higher baseline of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And they are also going to be much quicker to regain that muscle that they lose. But we think about muscles almost like more of like the aesthetic part of the body, but we rarely talk about the health of the muscular system and how it influences every other organ system. Because your muscular system is an endocrine organ, right? It
Mm-hmm.
secretes myokines and other hormones that influence everything else. And it also increases your body's ability to tolerate stress from other things. And so it's like we're young right now. We want to get older and we want to be somewhat not bulletproof, but I want a suit of armor that is going to help
Mm-hmm.
me maintain my capacity and my ability to do the things I want to do into my old age. My training now is like a 20 to 40-year long-term goal, right? It's like I am slowly trying to continue to increase my strength and my capabilities. Sure, there will be a point of like diminishing returns on trying to accumulate mass, but if you if you can go on this journey, it is going to pay dividends 40 years down the line. It's like investing in a
Hmm.
mutual fund, right? Like it's
Sure.
something that we all know we should do because it is going to pay out big time way down the
Hmm.
road, but we don't because we want to see those benefits right away. When the reality is like it takes a lifestyle or a lifetime, right? I had
Hmm.
a I had a patient yesterday. I'll share this story because it's why I love being a nurse when I have patients like this. She flew into San Francisco. There's this race called Bay to Breakers. It's like a 9 mile race through San Francisco, and it's basically just become this massive party. Very few people take it really seriously. 70-year-old lady. She's been running it for 30 years, and people just congregate on the course, and they have no awareness. And someone just stepped out right into her path, knocked her down. She fractured her olecranon process in her elbow and had to come into the hospital, you know. And so I get her. And normally, when I'm getting report on a patient that's coming up 70 years old, out of all the 1,000 patients that I've had who are 70 plus years old, you know, the baseline of what I'm going to get, it's not super healthy. She gets up here. She is sharp as a tack. And she's so upset that she fell and, fractured her wrist. I have to do an admission history on new patients, and so it's easy to start a conversation. And I'm obviously inclined to ask her, how have you maintained this capacity? How have you lived such a healthy lifestyle being 70 years old and still going on these races and doing these things? And for her, it started, 40 years ago. She started pursuing running, and she loves it. She loves how it makes her feel.
Hmm.
It made her understand the importance of staying active and how much motion is lotion and rest is rust. And
Hmm.
we further talked about nutrition. And, she avoided red meat because she thought it caused cancer. And so we were able to have an open conversation about that and realize how individualized all these things really are. She asked me, is high fructose corn syrup worse than another sugar? Right off the bat, no, I don't believe it is. But again, it comes down to predisposition, stress levels, total amount of
Hmm.
calories and sugar. And so she is someone who clearly has an open mind and has been like a lifelong student in terms of her health. She talked about all the things she tried and just pursued what made her feel good. And now that she's 70 and she has some grandkids, she's further motivated to want to stick around for quite some time. So that's what we all need to be training for. That's
Hmm.
what we need to keep in the front of our minds is right now at our age, it's easy it's easy to fall off and think that, oh, I'll get in shape later. I'll start lifting weights later. I'm too busy right now. Like we said earlier, you're never going to have more time. You just have to
Hmm.
make it work with what you got, and you don't have to overcomplicate it. You just have to focus on a couple fundamentals, do them consistently, reevaluate your progress and how it went, think about things you want to do differently. Boom, new plan, move forward with it, execute, reflect, new plan, move forward. It's just a repeated process over and over
Rinse and
until,
repeat. Yeah.
yep, until you're freaking 70 plus years old. And at that point, it's ingrained in you and it is who you are. And
I think that mutual fund example is unbelievably like on point. Like there's no better way to kind of write it. And I'm in the same type of like thoughts of your own where it doesn't make sense to me why like people aren't thinking about longevity. And it's almost like we're playing Madden, right? but we're going to just take away the defense for 3 quarters and just play prevent at the end of the game. It's
Yeah.
like our healthcare
Yeah.
system. And I
Yeah.
studied kinesiology as well, and it's just like I know, and I imagine you felt the same way, but like it just seems everything in the education towards it is like just dated, and it's like very simple. We should all take care of ourselves as best as we can for to live way past 70.
Yeah.
Like why not? And you don't
Yeah.
just rely on future medication and stuff like they can't do nothing for you if you have
Hmm.
closed arteries or or
Yeah.
you can't freaking move.
Yep.
It doesn't sit well with me that like we should all be more active. It's not hard to be active
Hmm.
and to move and just freaking park. My wife hates it when I park far away, but I
Yeah.
park far away to walk.
Yeah.
And frankly, I hate people in parking lots, so it's a two-pronged approach there. But yeah, man, it's like why are we just relying on prevent defense like the 22 Bills? You got Patty Mahomes,
Yeah.
heart disease and different chronic diseases. They're like Patrick Mahomes, man. They're the GOAT. They're gonna always come on top if you let them.
Yeah.
So, man,
It's
good point on the mutual
the
funds.
the system, the healthcare system, as everyone knows, isn't set up to push wellness. It won't make
Hmm.
money off of a healthy population that doesn't need it.
Yeah.
So the care that's provided and the interventions given typically just treat acute things, and patients get discharged and they go back to their normal lives. And what's insanity? Like the definition of
The,
insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. Yeah.
yep.
Well, unbeknownst to these patients, they go home and they do the same thing and they get readmitted for the same issue. There is a lack of just general education on how to take care of yourself. I mean, in all of our society, right? Like, in the hospital, patients need to have serious conversations. It doesn't need to be scientific, it doesn't need to be deep. It just needs to be vulnerable, open, inquisitive, asking them about different aspects of their life. And okay, maybe this is a better idea. Maybe doing this simple thing is going to actually help you a lot. But like, we are all left to our own devices to learn about our bodies and our physiology. Like, imagine how beneficial it would have been in maybe high school to have a class on the fundamentals of nutrition. Just like, we don't need to get into nutritional biochemistry or anything, but you just need to know what protein is, what carbohydrates are, fiber, fat, what they're used
Hmm.
for. You need to learn about caloric and energy balance. And then also training. We're in high school. We are ripe young humans and we are ready to evolve and grow. And we should be educated on, hey, if you want to, make your body capable of these things to become a functional, capable human being, useful human being physically, then these are the different interventions you can try. Running, cycling, weightlifting, sport, anything. But like I said, we're left to our own devices to try and figure that out. And life gets busy, life gets tough. So we are all guilty of caring for others and other things more than we care for ourselves at times. And that is part of being human. But on this journey, you gain that awareness that you need to keep yourself in line.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's doesn't go without being said too that it's a fixed game, right? You look, as you mentioned, everything when it comes to, just the healthcare system, pharmaceutical companies. But what about just like the food that we're eating and how it has a lot of addictive properties, and the cheaper food is typically the, worse for you, and advertisements of different food. So yeah, I mean, like it is a stacked deck, and I just refuse to agree with anyone that thinks that like they don't have an opportunity that to control their own destiny. Or here's another one: if we talk about longevity and age, what about just like it's never too late? Like it's never too late. Like
yep.
I know of a person. There's a person in my life who an older person, not like, elderly, but he was, he was, one year he was, not in shape, and then he just started to run and like drastically like turn things around.
Hmm.
And it's like, and I've seen it actually through, a few people that I know of, like they just changed their diet and then boom, they lost like a ton of weight. And
Hmm.
it's never to, just off the top of my head, just a few of, people, a couple generations above us, like I think that it's empowering to feel that you have the control. And not only can weightlifting and resistance training like can help you physically get there, but mentally will give you the encouragement to keep going.
Yes.
And then maybe it's like, all right, now I'm going to change my diet,
Yes.
or now I'm going to practice meditation, or
Hmm.
now, it's these foundational building blocks that if we don't have it to begin with, we're already playing, behind,
Hmm.
and it's necessary. So, man, your points are just hitting home, and I'm sure people are really going to appreciate, especially with your experience of, hey, you're witnessing it every single day.
Hmm.
Of you're trying to cover, four verts with one man,
Yeah.
playing safety, and that's you.
Yeah. And
So,
look, to be honest, like I said, I want to live to 80 and be healthy and rock solid. And I can do everything right. I can I can do everything right for the next 50
mhm,
years, 40 years. Who knows? It could come at any time, but nothing, we can't take a single day for granted. I could wake up one day in the near future with some symptom that might lead to a terminal diagnosis for
mhm,
whatever reason, you know? And a lot of people might think about that and say, like, so why would I even try? Why would I even waste all that time if there's a good chance, if I have like a high genetic predisposition or a family history of getting something, it's all for naught. Like it's just I'm chalking it up to a loss. But
mhm,
I know if that day comes, I'll be in a much better place to accept it, given everything I've learned and knowing that I have a healthier, stronger baseline to put up a fight against whatever might be coming my way. I am in a better mental space because of everything I've learned through training. And that's going to allow you mentally to accept whatever comes your way a little better. And your thoughts do play a large role in your physical, like in your physiology. And
mhm.
the mind is a super powerful thing. Um, talk about it a lot during nutrition, but to me, it has become weight training and just training in general has become almost a form of spirituality because of how much self growth I've witnessed through this journey.
Mhm.
And to me, now, like, sure, you can say I'm addicted to the gym because if I don't push against some weights for like 5 days, mentally, I start to decline. I might get a little more irritable. My willpower might go down. I might not have such a clean diet. And so for me, I know the quick fix is to hit the gym. And I can't let my emotions dictate that action. And so for me, what's worked is most of the time I try and go to the gym in the morning and I start with a win. And like we
Mhm.
said, it further influences every other aspect of your life. I'll have a better day at work. I'll have better conversations with friends or family. I'll make better nutritional decisions. And I'll be proud of myself because I'm doing the things that I told myself I was going to do. So, yeah.
Love it. I love it. And maybe just like I'll end with this too, that it is not that hard to make a small change, but that small change can have drastic results. And your story has shown that time in and time again. I mean, you didn't from the first time you picked up a dumbbell or did that lat pull down, it didn't result in where you are now, but there are certain things that everyone can relate to of personal growth and just physical health, of just living the best life you could possibly be, feeling the best way you can be. And, certainly your story resembles that. So I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing all about it.
Hey, dude, that's that is how we live. It's how we learn, right? We have to share things. We have to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have similar experiences, believe it or not. And we have similar
Mm-hmm.
tendencies. To some degree, we are all human. But like you said, the barrier to entry, it's not as high as you think. It starts with parking that car on the other side of the parking lot. It starts with a 10-minute walk after breakfast or lunch. You nail that one simple thing that you told yourself you were going to do, then you build upon it, and you just go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to, any increase is going to move you in that positive direction, right? And we don't need to set up these high expectations for ourselves. We need to be patient with ourselves and realize, like we said, it's going to be a long time. And we just start small and slowly build.
Yep. You did miss one intervention, and we'll end with this. Very small, probably the most marginal like increase you can make. Subscribe to Here2health, Instagram.
Here to help.
Here2health. I keep making that mistake.
Well,
It's going to be tagged. So
it used to be what? Health with Hirth. That's why.
Health with her. Yeah. Regardless, the brand is great. So,
Thanks.
my friend, thank you for coming on. It was fantastic. Clearly, we have another conversation around nutrition. That would be
We got plenty more
even
conversations,
fantastic.
dude.
Exactly.
This is great for you, for me, hopefully for everyone else. I'd love to keep doing it. So
absolutely.
I'm happy to be
All
here.
right, brother. Well, thank you so much. And everyone, subscribe to all the accounts, which will be linked. And, my friend, enjoy that wonderful weather out west and everything you're doing out there.
Thank you, brother. I will. I promise.
All right.
All right, man.
Thanks.